Hello everyone and welcome back to Gamer Insanity. This is your host Peter Nielsen. We have such a special video for you today. Remember last time we were testing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for the Xbox, which is a classic game, amazing game, very impressed with it. Today we're going to take it to the next level. But before we do that, I will say that if you have not watched this video yet, I would recommend that you do that. We'll put a link in the description, or otherwise you can find it on our channel. Remember to like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions, or just as a big retro gamer nerd like we are. We really appreciate it. We just had 300 subscribers thanks to you guys. Thank you so much. But we really want to get up there and hit that 1,000. That could rock. So tell your friends about us, your family and all that, and we'd really appreciate it. So yeah, today we're going to go further with our Harry Potter review. We're going to go beyond the Xbox. But first of all, the hero itself, the guy we were running last time, which was the original Xbox, as you can see here in all its glory. Well, I said we were going to extend today, and that's because we're going to be testing some different machines as well. We're going to be testing the PlayStation 2 version of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets together with the Xbox version. But that's not all. We are also going to be testing the GameCube version of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So, put it there. But that's not all, because we're also going to be testing the PlayStation 1 version of the Chamber of Secrets, if you can believe it or not. Yes, they made Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for the PlayStation 1 as well. And there's going to be a lot of interesting, really cool facts in this video that you may not have heard elsewhere. So yeah, so you have a lot to look forward to. We're also going to be testing the PC version as well. So it's going to be pretty much a comparison of all the versions of this game, apart from the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance version, which we unfortunately will not be looking at today. But every other single version we will be comparing. And we're going to compare it in a very authentic way. So we're going to be using time period correct, like screens, like we did last time with the television. We also have a very, very cool monitor that we're going to show off today, where we're going to be running the PC version. So that's pretty much the schedule for today. So let's take a look at the different versions of Harry Potter. We have the Xbox version here we showed last time. Then we have the PlayStation 2 version. So you can see, it's very similar. We have the GameCube version, the PC version, and we have the PlayStation 1 version. Something I noticed, which was actually very interesting about the PlayStation 1 version, is notice how much smaller it is than all the other ones, but also notice that sort of the PlayStation like logo is on the side, and this is actually very similar to how Sony did the PlayStation 3 game covers, at least for the first few years, where they sort of made it more compact in height, and they also put the iconic like Spider-Man PlayStation logo over here. So that was an interesting thing I just noticed. They unfortunately went away from that and they went for like a more generic logo up here. But I personally really liked actually the Spider-Man logo with PlayStation 3. Although a lot of people don't like that, so that may be a controversial opinion. But here they basically are, all these versions. there's a fascinating history behind these games because, as I mentioned in the last video, if you've seen it, otherwise I'll tell you now for the first time, these games are made by different developers. Despite having the same cover, they're different games. You know, they're completely different games made by different developers. The only thing they have in common is that they had the different developers, they had some loose contact to Warner Brothers and Electronic Arts and J.K. Rowling, were given sort of similar assets, the same music soundtrack by Jeremy Soule. But other than that, they were pretty much isolated in their development. And there was sort of a hierarchy of who got the most sort of attention. So there's broad opinion that the PlayStation 2 version is the superior version. And it was also developed by EA UK. So that was EA Games, not just publishing it, but they actually hired their own developers to do this. At this point in time, EA was, unlike today, actually a very respectable developer. They made good games back then, believe it or not. So that was actually, I'd argue, the main version. And there are also some benefits to this, like you can fly, free roam, basically around Hogwarts, which is quite amazing. Then there are these two versions here. And as far as I understand it, we're going to test that a little today. They are almost identical to the PS2 version. But according to Wikipedia, both the Xbox version and the Nintendo GameCube versions are made by Eurocom. So not by EA UK, but Eurocom. So that's kind of interesting. And also there's no free roam. So you can't fly around Hogwarts freely. And that's despite the fact that the Xbox is actually more powerful than the PS2. So that's very curious indeed. The PC version was made by a developer called No Wonder. And it's actually considered the fan favorite. There was a poll made recently on another YouTube channel about the best version of this game. And this one won, almost in a tie with the PS2 version, despite being a completely different game, despite them having far less access to the Harry Potter team that were making the movie at the time. So the guys that made the PS2 version, they had access to basically the movie set and I think blueprints of Hogwarts, what it looked like. The PC developers did not do that, so they had to use their imagination to guess what Hogwarts looks like, and therefore in the PC version, Hogwarts looks nothing like in the movies at all. Whereas in the PS2 version, and I believe GameCube and Xbox as well, it looks very similar to the movie. Although have in mind that obviously at this time, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone had already come out, so they knew of course what Hogwarts looked like, but when they designed the castle initially with Philosopher's Stone, they didn't know it. So they just based Hogwarts in this game off that version as well. Then last but not least, there's the PlayStation 1 version, which was developed by another developer by the name, I'll just check because I actually forgot, Argonaut Games. So a completely different developer made this game, and I actually, honestly, I don't know too much about this version, so I'm actually very excited to try it out. But again, it's a totally different game. So we're gonna be testing these versions. We're gonna be testing overall presentation, graphics. We're not gonna do an extensive review of each version. We're just gonna do like an overall initial impression and comparison. But I hope that you will find it interesting anyway. And maybe it can help you make a biased decision at some point as to which version you wanna try out. So let's stop wasting any more time, let's get to it. Okay, so the first version we're going to test out is the one we also did in the last video, the Xbox version. That'll sort of be our reference point for comparison to the other versions. So what's going to happen is I'm going to start up the start area, walk around a little bit, make a few comments, and then I'm going to do an action, which I'm then going to repeat again with the other versions. Then we'll get like an initial impression, and I'm going to be focusing primarily on graphics and performance and well, the overall impression of the story and so forth. But I'm not going to do a deep dive into the story and the game itself. This is just going to be a first impressions video. I might make a video in the future if you're interested. We will do more an in-depth review and comparison. This will just be first impression. So we'll start. So here we are. We're going to put in the game again, just like in the last video. There we go. And then, let me just see here. God damn it. There we go. We'll put the disc in. Beautiful, still works like it's brand new. That's amazing.
If Harry Potter goes back to Hogwarts, he will be in mortal danger.
Yeah, that's super cool. In case we're seeing the cinematic again in the further version, I'm going to skip it, but only if it's the same. So, but that's how the Xbox version begins, and I'll be just starting new game, and we'll be starting new game on the other versions as well, and we'll see what happens. Just start a new one here.
Welcome to the Burrow, Harry. Did any of you ever give a thought to how worried I'd be? Bed's empty, no note, car gone. Could have crashed. Out of my mind with worry. Did you care? Never. As long as I've lived. Mum, now get outside and start denoming. I've had it up to here with all of you. Except you, of course, Harry. I'm not cross with you.
You ready to do a bit of denoming then, Harry? Well, I'm not sure, Ron. I've been with the Dursleys so much this summer, I'm a little rusty.
Okay, so that little cutscene right there is actually excellent for comparison. So I'm going to be showing the other versions that cutscene as well, because I think that'll give us a perfect comparison. But obviously we're also gonna walk around a little bit just to get an overall impression. We did this as well in the Xbox version, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this version this time around. But again, like I said in the other video, it looks really nice. Graphics are very good, and this is a thing that you don't get from playing, you know, emulators or in general playing these kind of old games on newer monitors. Is that you get the wrong impression of how the game is actually intended to look like, because the game wasn't designed with IPS or OLED monitors or sharp resolution in mind. So a lot of people think that, oh wow, this game looks really cartoonish, right? Because they're playing it on the emulator and everything looks kind of blocky. But as you can see here, when you're playing it on a CRT, it actually doesn't look as cartoonish. It looks more natural and realistic, right? So the graphics are just a much better fit with an old monitor like this, and you just don't get that by playing it with an emulator on your monitor. But we're going to be comparing how the different systems run on sort of all in their prime, because they were all intended to run on a system like on a TV like this. So we'll really get to see the systems run in their prime. But anyway, so now we are comparing the Xbox with the GameCube version. So here's the game, and there's the GameCube. So we'll start by, I think you can just put it in there, so that's where you open up the disc. And look, it got this really funny, like, small disc. Very interesting, very odd machine. But you can see it here, like, it's tiny. I've never seen a CD this small before, but that's how it looks. You put it there. It's such a funny, like, the GameCube is so funny because, look, you can carry it around, you know, like a little bag if you want. It's such a funny, interesting, and unique console. I really like it. You power it on.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
That was kind of interesting. No cutscene in this version. I didn't press any button. Maybe it's my memory. Maybe you can, you know, look back in the video. But I also it seemed like the Warner Brothers logo was a bit different. But here's the menu on the GameCube.
If Harry Potter goes back to Hogwarts, he will be in mortal danger.
Okay, so that's the same. We've always seen that. So it comes after you press the start button. I think it started immediately with the Xbox version. But here we are. Oh yeah, very cool fact. The GameCube and the Game Boy Advance had unique content if you link the devices. So this is sort of a cross-media experience of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It added some extra features when you linked with your Game Boy Advance. That's so cool. Unfortunately, we don't have the Game Boy Advance here with us to test that. Perhaps in a future video.
If Harry Potter,
we can explore that. But we're just going to go right ahead and start the game. Right here, it's very similar to the Xbox version. We have no memory card in, but that's okay. It's perfect. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, continue without saving, right? Yeah. slower loading screen. That's the first thing I noticed actually. Slower loading screen compared to the Xbox.
Welcome to the burrow, Harry.
Did any of you ever give a thought of how worried I'd be?
But-
Bed's empty, no note, car gone. Could have crashed. Out of my mind with worry. Did you care? Never. As long as I've lived. Mum, now get outside and start denoming. I've had it up to here with all of you. Except you, of course, Harry. I'm not cross with you.
You ready to do a bit of denoming then, Harry? Well, I'm not sure, Ron. I've been with the Dursleys so much this summer, I'm a little rusty.
Okay. So, runs virtually identical to the Xbox version.
Compared to the glass jar, Harry.
It has a similar smooth frame rate, and the resolution, as far as I can tell, is identical as well.
That was truly smashing, Harry.
Oh, when you're ready, we'll meet you in the barn.
Just try to do this.
When I learn some second year magic, I should be able to get the shield to the top.
So, it's the same game. I think the resolution, the frame rate is also the same.
I wonder what the
But-
others are doing.
I noticed, yeah, like you saw, like slower loading screen, but it's very nice as well. The GameCube version is definitely also very very pleasant looking and runs
We're
quite
waiting in the
well.
barn, Harry.
But I would pick the Xbox version if I could. If I had an Xbox and a GameCube, you might get some faster frame rates, not frame rates, sorry, some faster loading times than on the Xbox. So, but very cool, definitely very playable
When I learn some second year magic,
and very nice
I
looking
should be able to get
with the
shield
GameCube.
to
And you
the
have this
top.
interesting Game Boy Advance links that we haven't explored here, but so if you have a Game Boy Advance as well, that might be worth considering playing the GameCube version to get extra content, basically. So yeah, that would be the GameCube version. Let's compare with the PlayStation 2 version. Alright, so now we're comparing the PS2 version. This is supposed to be the definitive version of the game, at least according to many on the internet. So I'm quite excited actually to test that out. I have not tried it before, so I think that it's gonna be very similar to the Xbox and GameCube version. We'll see. Start by turning on the PS2. There's the disc, and you have a memory card holder there as well. There's the disc. That's new.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Miss Harry to Hogwarts.
Okay. This version apparently is in Danish. I'm sorry if you've been English speaking or some other. But besides that, it's very similar. I guess there was some different loading. What do you call it? Menu where it started up and it asked about memory card and stuff like that. Does this look a little bit? Okay, then that one starts again, right? Just see here. Okay, but looks quite similar apart from some different loading screen with memory card. So I guess let's start it and find out how it goes. That's quite different. This is a different loading screen. I think the menu also looked a bit different.
Velkommen til Vindehuset, Harry.
Har nogen af jer tænkt på, hvor urolig jeg ville blive? Tomme selv.
Men...
Ikke beskeden. Bilen borte. Kunne det være forhjælpet? Ud af mig selv og bekymring. Var det noget, I kunne tage jer af? Aldrig i hele mit liv.
Men mor...
Så kom udenfor og begynd at næse lue. Jeg har fået nok af alle. Undtagen dig, naturligvis, Harry. Jeg er ikke vred på dig.
Er du klar til at ordne en smule nisselugning, Harry? Tja, jeg er ikke sikker, Ron. Jeg har været hos min Dursley hele sommeren, så jeg er nok lidt rusten.
Wow, that was completely different. I did not expect that at all. So we had basically the same script, the same things happened, but different angles, different. I believe they use different textures as well. So for me, this definitely confirms that this is made by EA UK, whereas the other two games are made by Eurocom. So again, these games are completely different, although still rather similar, remarkably similar, but at the same time very different. You can see the guardrails are not there. We had these guardrails before. It's like everything is different, but at the same time it's the same thing. You have the same kind of thing standing there. But it's clearly completely different render. I don't know if it's a different engine. Oh, there's actually some guardrail there, but not a lot. It looks quite nice, I guess. I don't know if I actually prefer, at least graphically, I think I may prefer the Xbox and the GameCube version, but that's just my personal opinion. But as you can tell, this is a completely different game. There's beans now, okay. Let's see. We did not get that animation there. You still have to hit that jar, so let's try that.
Det var knaldende godt, Harry.
Ved du hvad, Harry? Vi kan genbruge en hel masse ting, som ligger rundt omkring i vinduet. Og hvis du prøver, vil du nok blive overrasket over, hvad du finder.
I would like to say that my impression was that they were the same games, but that the PS2 version had extra features, like you could fly open world at Hogwarts. But I can now confirm that it's because they are completely different games. So the PS2 and the Xbox GameCube version, they're very similar in terms of the script and in terms of the layout, but it's entirely different rendered, slightly different art. It's a different game. So keep that in mind. The Xbox and the GameCube versions are pretty much identical. The PS2, different game. So now we're going to be testing the original PlayStation. So here again is the game, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So we're just going to be opening up, and there it is. And again, this is an entirely different developer from the other ones. So this game I would expect to be entirely different, with the characteristic PS1 graphics some of you may know. So here's the iconic PlayStation 1 controller. As some of you may know, if you have a PlayStation 5 or something, it's the 30th anniversary for PlayStation. So PlayStation 1 came out 20 years ago in 1994. And if you have a PlayStation 5, then I want you to notice when the console starts up, it might look familiar to you. So let's do that.
Yankees.
Okay, so quite different from the other versions. We're going to pick English. So this is the PlayStation 1 version. As you can see, the menu is entirely different. It looks really cool. So let's go right ahead and see.
Harry Potter's first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry was very eventful indeed. Along with his friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, Harry had managed to defeat Lord Voldemort, the greatest dark sorcerer of all time. But now Harry was back at number 4 Privet Drive. He was often locked in his room, and even though he was a wizard, he couldn't escape because he wasn't allowed to use magic. Then, one evening towards the end of the summer holidays, a house elf named Dobby appeared. Dobby warned Harry not to return to Hogwarts.
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts. If Harry Potter goes back, he will be in mortal danger. There is a plot, Harry Potter, a plot to make most terrible things happen.
Dobby disappeared, and shortly after, Ron Weasley and his brothers, Fred and George, arrived in a flying Ford Anglia to rescue Harry from his prison. Harry told them all about Dobby's warning.
Very fishy. I reckon old Dobby was sent as someone's idea of a joke. Can you think of anyone at school with a grudge against you?
Draco Malfoy.
Eventually, they landed at Ron's house, the Burrow.
Touchdown!
Ron's mother, Molly Weasley, marched across the yard and came to a halt in front of them. She didn't look pleased.
Bed's empty, no note, car gone. Out of my mind with worry.
It seemed to go on for hours, and Mrs. Weasley had shouted herself hoarse before she turned to Harry.
Very pleased to see you, Harry dear. Ronald Weasley, I thought I asked you to stop that ghoul from making such a racket. He's still dropping pipes over the attic floor. It's driving me mad.
Come on, Harry, let's go.
And they did.
Welcome to my home. It's not much. I think it's brilliant. Thanks, Harry. We call it the Burrow. Come on, Harry. If the ghoul is not the attic door again, we've got to try and find another way in.
As you can see, this is an entirely different version again. It has these iconic PlayStation 1 graphics that everyone loves. There's the iconic PS1 Hagrid. I don't know if we have time to show him today, but we can show the iconic PS1 Ron instead. And yeah, it's honestly I love this art style. I mean, yes, of course it's like worse graphics obviously than the other versions, but I really love the colors, and look at that skybox as well. And it has totally free camera movement. I like that as well. Okay.
Try and flipendo these crates with your knockback cheeks. Remember, press the X button to cast.
Okay. So, again, this is a totally different map than what we saw before. You didn't have this weird doghouse or no, hen house, and so forth. It's quite larger, but actually very, very pleasant to look at. You even have these cool little chickens. Look if you run into them. That's super cool. So I'm quite impressed by this version. I would love to actually, play this version. Oh, look at that! Wow.
That's it, Harry. Now the other one.
That's so cool. I love this. Seriously.
Ronald Weasley, I thought I asked you to stop that ghoul from making such a...
Just skip
dear.
over this.
Mum's really not happy. Watch me and then follow.
So this is entirely different gameplay. It's still the same, where you go to Ron's house and all that, but I love this platformer gameplay. I love platformers in
Push into the
general.
small crate to climb on top,
So
and then run over the gap to up.
notice how PS1 graphics actually looks when you have them on a proper CRT television, because this is what it's supposed to look like, and it doesn't look bad at all. The colors are amazing, and yeah, it's really, really fun and good so far. Oh, you get to go inside the house. Very, very charming.
We need to calm down the ghoul. He's banging and dropping pipes and it's driving Mum mad. Use your directional buttons to move the chest. Try and catch 60 pipes before they land on the floor and make a terrible racket. Right, Harry, let's get to it.
Oh my god, okay. This is really fun. I love this kind of gameplay actually. Super fun. If you can get your hand on the PS1 version, I would recommend that. It's really charming, the graphics, the colors are really, really good. And it just goes to show you that graphics are not everything. Nice lighting and good color and a proper screen is as important, I think, if not more important, than just regular old graphics running on some emulator on your PC.
Nice work, Harry. That'll shut him up for a while. Thanks for helping with the ghoul.
Ah, that's much quieter.
Okay, so we're ready to try out the PC version now. So let's do that. That's the disc. Looks similar to the Xbox version. So we'll just open up this bad boy here and open up the top one there. Very good. That's another classic game, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. We played that. There we go. So earlier in this video, I talked about that I had, some kind of cool stuff I wanted to show up, and I think this is really one of the coolest things ever in retro gaming, if it's that. This is the system we're gonna run on. This is running on like a high-end PC of like year 2003. The game is from 2002. So this, for any of you retro PC nerds out there, we're running on an Athlon XP 3200 plus and an ATI Radeon 9800 XT. That was before they called themselves AMD like today. That was ATI. And then really, I think the coolest thing is the screen itself. The screen is considered by many as the greatest CRT monitor ever made. And I might make a review about this monitor itself at some point in the future, but this monster of a screen here is like, if you look at price tags online, it's really expensive, and it's not for no reason, because it's pretty much the best picture quality you can get out of a CRT monitor. So what better way to test off the Harry Potter 2 game on PC than this lovely machine here. So so here it is, Harry Potter 2. We're gonna try it out now and of course compare it to the other games. Again, this is an entirely different developer that made the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 and GameCube and Xbox version. So let's try it out. So like, this is obviously this is what you don't get when you're playing it like on an emulator or something like that. You don't get this experience. I can recommend, if you can get your hands on a system like this, find used parts. That's what I did, and then you're not gonna regret it, because it's just an amazing experience. So I played this game when I was a kid. This was the version of Harry Potter I played. I haven't played the other ones. Quite familiar with this one. It's just an amazing puzzle game in general. Let's just play new game. Start it up. It's just an amazing puzzle game. Really fun. You can download it as well. You can download. People have uploaded this game on the internet, so you can download it for free nowadays. I can highly recommend that if you don't want to play it completely authentically.
Harry Potter boede på Ligustervænget nummer 4 hos sin forfærdelige onkel og tante, samt deres ægle, modbydelige søn Dudley. Harry blev ofte låst inde på sit værelse, og selvom han var en troldmand, kunne han ikke slippe ud, fordi han ikke måtte bruge magi, når han var borte fra skolen. En aften ankom en husstand.
Okay, so Harry Potter's glasses look weird. That's a glitch. He's not supposed to be wearing like weird sunglasses. So anyway, as you can see, it's completely different from the other versions. You start at Harry's house. It's running on the Unreal Engine 1, by the way, for anyone that didn't know.
Hvor Harry tilbragte resten af sommeren, før de rejste med susepulver til Diagonalstrædet. Harry mødte Rons søster Ginny og gik med hende til Florence.
So, more glitches there. You would have to patch that, obviously, to, you know, to get the proper look of the game. I think it's actually strange that it glitches out like that, because the hardware should support it. So, but it might just need a patch for the graphics card or something like that. But so as you can see, an entirely different interpretation of the Harry Potter story.
Du sikkert gjorde du ikke, Potter? Berømte Harry Potter. Kan ikke engang gå ind i en boghandel uden at komme på forsiden.
Lad ham være i fred. Han ønskede ikke alt det.
Potter, du har nok fået dig en kæreste.
Dine forældre må vel sulte i måneden for at betale for alle de bøger, du skal bruge på Hogwarts. Det er det mindste, jeg kan gøre for at hjælpe de fattige og nødlidende.
Harry, vi nåede ikke toget. Hogwarts Expressen kørte for 5 minutter siden. Nej, hvad skal vi gøre? Tja, jeg ved, at far kørte Fort Anglian til arbejde i morges. Den er parkeret på Charing Cross Road. Okay, det er vores eneste chance for at komme til skolen i tide.
So that straight now apparently is fixed by itself. So, I don't know.
Efter at have sikret sig, at ingen kiggede, satte Ron og Harry afsted i den gamle Ford Mania.
Nu er det kun flyvemaskiner, vi skal passe på. Jeg kan ikke se herinde. Ja, det var tæt på. Jeg tror, vi er ved at være der. Åh nej, jeg tror, bilen er ved at gå i stå. Kom så, bil. Kom så.
I love this game. I mean, it's so different from the others too. Like, you don't get the Ron's house. You just get like a rendered cutscene or rendered cutscenes, and yeah, and then they hit the tree like they do in the movie as well, and that's pretty much where the game starts. So.
Slap på den hammer.
So apart from that, apart from the different like intro and story, we also have like different gameplay basically. So what you get on the PC that obviously you don't get on a CRT monitor is that you get this razor sharp image. You know, you're rendering the game at the resolution you want. So, and with CRT, it's even sharp when you're rendering at a lower resolution than the monitor can take. So but this is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the PC. I grew up with this game, so I'm quite familiar with it. But I would say that the graphics are better in some ways and worse in others. So it's better in the sense, like I just mentioned, the image is sharper. This screen itself also does that. The contrast ratio is just excellent on this monitor. It's very good image, but it's less detailed. Like the models themselves and the environment itself is less detailed than on the, especially the Xbox and the GameCube version. So I would say that it's probably, of course, not, you know, the PlayStation 1 version would be the worst looking one. Then I would say the PC version, and then the PS2, and then the best looking versions are basically the GameCube and the Xbox. So, in terms of like the environments and like just attention to detail and all that. This is very cool.
Når du besvimer, vil dit spil automatisk gå tilbage til det pointtal, du havde sidst, du rørte en gennembog.
It's such amazing, like, you know, just how much you can really feel when you're playing each of these versions. You can feel how much heart and passion these developers put into making these games, and it's like you have so many different versions with love and passion put into each of them, and it's like that's just so amazing. You can play the same story so many times on different consoles. Like, I wish, in a way, I wish that more people did that, and probably it's a waste of money now, but it's just there's so much quality in art here, just going out of like different interpretations of the same game. I mean, I love that.
Jeg tager ved på, at jeg kan bruge figurerne i den bagage for at skubbe den over mod kanterne.
So as you can see here, it's amazing. Buttery smooth frame rate as well. Because it's a PC, so it runs however well your hardware is. But yeah, that's pretty much the PC version, like just a short view of it. This is an excellent game, by the way. It's the only one I've completed out of the ones I've tested today. I can highly recommend it. So, friends, that was it. We managed to go through all the versions of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets we had. My final thoughts on it, of course you can make your own opinion about what you think is the best version from what you saw. But the way I see it is, the Xbox and the GameCube versions are actually the best looking ones, which makes sense because the Xbox especially had the superior hardware at the time. The PS2 version is very close, but not quite there in terms of graphics, but it's still considered a fan favorite because it has more features, basically, like you can fly around open world at Hogwarts and so forth. Then I would put the PC version in terms of like graphics and presentation beneath the PS2 version. The PC version suffered from the PC genre in general being neglected quite a lot at the time. So at the time in 2002, a lot of people thought PC gaming was sort of dying and that consoles were the future. So a lot of development resources primarily went into the console versions, which explains why the PC version is graphically more simple, which of course makes no sense because the PC hardware is so much more powerful and you can get these higher resolutions. And with an amazing monitor like this, you can get amazing contrast radio and colors as well. The graphics are more simple. That said, in terms of which game is actually the most fun, that's an entirely different question. As I said earlier, the PC version is actually considered the best version. So better graphics doesn't necessarily mean more fun game. It's just important to keep that in mind. Then there was the PlayStation 1 version, which I really enjoyed as well. I never tried it before, but it's totally different as well. It has this characteristic flickery PS1 graphics, but actually a really good art style, I thought, and nice colors as well. I haven't completed it. I'm not sure how good the game is, but I think it had a nice presentation as well. But obviously the worst graphics is the older generation console, right? It has these freaky NPC faces that looks like something out of a nightmare, right? And PS1 Hagrid and all those memes. So, but yeah, I think that about sums up this comparison. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe and tell your friends about this channel and Game Insanity and stuff like that if they're interested in retro gaming. And look forward to more cool content in the future. And I'll see you then.